Welcome to DCL Talk Show. Probably I'll call it playoff blast because I was looking at the matchups, and normally till last year when I looked at whenever you look at the matchups till last year, pre-quarterfinals for certain teams is going to be a cakewalk, easy ones. But this year, when I looked at those matchups, I could not pick winners or losers. Okay, so that is a situation. Uh, Before I jump into other details of these games or analysis or predictions, whatever you call it, um, let me introduce our analysts of the night. Welcome to the show, Pradeep.
Thanks, Jagan. After a short break, I think we're ready for exciting times of BCL. We're looking forward to this one. I'm going to be watching from the outside.
Okay, welcome to the show, Rahul.
Hey, hi guys. Hope everyone is doing well. Good number of audience today. Excited.
See, normally during the playoffs, we will have at least we'll hit 400 listeners overall. Okay, especially for playoffs. Okay, welcome to the show, Jesse.
Thank you, Jagam, and welcome everybody who's tuned in for the DCL radio show, the week of the playoffs, and really exciting cricket coming up over the weekend, and hopefully all the all the teams that are participating will make sure that everybody has a lot to talk about when we see each other or talk to each other next weekend.
Jesse, you live in Canada right now, right?
Yeah, that's right, Jagan. Yeah.
Okay, I have today we have another analyst who is also from Canada, if my guess is right. Sravan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jagan Bhai. Hello, everybody. Happy to be here as always.
So you're from Canada too, right?
Currently, yes.
Okay, so you both can talk to each other, Jesse and Sravan in Windsor. Okay, okay, okay. So see, even before I get into the details of who's going to win, who's going to lose, who has better chances, I want to ask first. I'll do a round table on your prediction, and then after the predictions are done, we will get into the games. Why you picked all that stuff, you can explain it there. For me, it looked every game looked very tough. Okay, let me start with first game. GLADS versus Legends. I'll start with Pradip.
Yeah, this is this is interesting. I don't know which. I think GLADS made it to the playoffs, barely. I don't know if they have enough players qualified. I know they brought a few of the guys in because it was a must win for them. But I still have a big question mark on GLAD. So I'm going to give this to Legends on this one.
Okay, I'll ask you why and all that stuff later. Okay,
Yep.
Rahul, what do you think?
I think till beginning, like from beginning, I can say this year, like the competition was pretty high. Lot of upsets we have seen, uh, but uh, there are a lot of things happened this year, and some teams I'm feeling bad who didn't qualify. They should, but yeah, a couple of things definitely need to be discussed this year, and for learning, like for next year we have lot of learning. So I have couple of points this time to discuss, but yeah, uh, uh, but but yeah, this year like I can see emotions, competition, and especially the way DCL organized for two different divisions. definitely needs to be appreciated.
Yeah, see, I agree on that point. We have, my Rangers players as analysts tonight, Sravan. They missed playoffs by a whisker. Okay. Um, Jesse, sorry, Rahul, you didn't say, you didn't pick between GLC, sorry, GLADS versus Legends.
Uh, Definitely go with the Glads.
GLADS. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's tied at 1-1. Jesse, what do you say?
Yeah, I pick Gladiators, and said going to talk in about all the games, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
later on.
yeah. So I'll just confine myself with the pick. I'll pick Gladiators for this game.
Fantastic. Sravan, what do you say? Shravan, can you hear us?
Yes, Jagan, I can hear you. It's going to be an
Yeah,
interesting fight between GLADS and Legends. But given the experience and the way they were the champion team before and other champion team now, I'll give to GLADS.
okay. So, so this is how I would like to go for Division 1 games. Uh, Jesse and Pradip, these two will be talking about that one, and um, Shravan and Rahul will be talking about Division 2 games. And you guys can counter whenever you need. All four can counter. Okay, so I'll start with Pradip. Glads versus Legends. Why do you think Legends can win this game?
Yeah, it's more about, I think, for me with Glads. Um, they they struggled to make the playoffs. I think they barely made it in the end. But then it was. I think the good news for them is they have to play must-win games. So you can argue that they've been playing playoff type of games for the last 2 or 3 weeks. But at the same time, I'm not sure what is the requirement this year. Is it minimum 3 games qualifier, or is it
Yeah,
you
three
know
games
the
as
guys
usual.
can? Okay,
3 games. Nothing changed
okay,
there.
okay. So yeah, so I will be curious to see what who these teams are, who they qualified. But if they have their full team, I'll give them a chance. But I still have a question mark around Glad based on the performance this year. I'm not so sure about uh, some of the key guys in their roster struggled, and I didn't see Mansub. I think Mansub, they need Mansub, and obviously he was the MVP, I believe, of last year finals. And I'm not sure at this point if Glads can pull this one off. On the Legend side, they've been iffy too, but hopefully the bowling strength shows up in this particular game. They get their full team. But also the question mark there is, I think you mentioned in one of the shows, it's their attitude maybe that might be their weak link. But talent-wise, I think they can match Glad's talent. So I'm gonna slightly give this edge on for the Legends on this one. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so I mean, it's basically your experience versus, you know, of course, Legends too have experience, but all these years they were choking
Yeah.
in the playoffs. Jesse, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'll give it to Gladiators, like I said, for a few reasons. I'll talk about them in detail here. So when this division thing happened in this year DCL, I was of an opinion, and I shared it with a couple of close friends as well, that there will be few teams who won't be, even in spite of having the big names, and Glads is one of them for sure, who were who are defending champions, and in spite of all the big names and the repo that they have in the league, they would find it a little bit difficult. I did not think it would be this much, like the win and loss ratio would be this much for Gladiators, but I anticipated that they would be struggling because of this division thing, because there are no easy games. Every team from game 1 to game 12 is like a team that you face most of the time in playoffs. In the previous seasons, it used to be 2 to 3 games which were like this, and against little, the teams which were not that strong, even a uh, half of the Gladiators' regular side would be feeling comfortable going there and managing to score in excess of 80, 90, or 100 or something, and then uh, somehow make a match of it and restrict the opposition and get those 4 or 5 points every game. That was the case. But I anticipated that Gladiator would find it difficult because of so many of their players playing F40 and not available for every game. So when you don't play a consistent team game after game, week after week, you cannot expect results to go your way every time. What they have done better or what they have done good for themselves is that in spite of being in the danger of not qualifying, they pulled their act together in the last 3 to 4 games, and a lot of credit has to go to Hardeep for raising his game at the very right time. Otherwise, we could have seen Gladiators not even qualifying this year, and Gladiators qualifying now and with no F40 left. I think this is or even if it is there, I think they have done enough to qualify their main players, and now I think their focus will be to win this game at any cost. And what they did well from last season was before that, Gladiators always used to focus more on adding the batting arsenal until number 11, but they did not used to have a strong bowling lineup. There were every time one or two bowlers which would give 5 to 10 overs of average bowling, which in a playoff game against a top-notch team would lend an advantage back to the opponent. But from last year, their all the 25 overs were, either packed with raw pace like Jeet and other guys. I don't remember all the names like Mansab, but but with their bowling improving significantly from last season, they are now not relying only on their batting to do the heavyweight, and their bowling to play the support role. Now they can win the matches on basis of their bowling as well, like they did against, I think, in one of the playoff game against Red Devils last year, where they bundled the team out for just 20 odd runs. This has given Glads a lot of balance in before going into the game, that they can trust their bowling as well a lot more than they used to do before last year. And I think having so many players who have experience of playing in these big situations and pressure games, I think that gives an advantage to Gladiators against, and they're playing an opponent. Why another thing that I think goes into Gladiators' favor is they're playing against legends, which I think have never been able to do justice to the sort of talent that they have. Every time they have lost a playoff game at a stage where, or to an opponent where, talent-wise, SLCC legends would always be, above their opponent in a playoff game, but somehow I cannot put a finger to it as to what goes wrong. But legends have not been able to do justice to the sort of talent that they possess in their playing 11 or 12. So uh, and they are playing at Keith. If this game would be at Novi, which has a reputation of keeping low and skidding a lot more, I think SLCC legends would still find a little bit easy. But I think Gladiators against legends playing at Keith, I think a lot of things that I can think of goes into Gladiators' favor, and that's why I pick Gladiators here.
Okay, see, I don't know. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody can correct me. I'm only pointing to a weakness here. Glads age is a factor there for them. They have slowed down a lot when compared to, even compared to last year. You're mentioning the fast bowling of Mansab, but I started calling him last year itself. I started calling him, and before I used to call him Rahul Pindi Express. I started calling him Rahul Pindi Passengers after looking at last year's bowling. I mean, that's how
Okay.
you know. Uh, there's no that kind of speed. He's still running from long distance, but his pace has gone down. Whereas legends are all youngsters, and they play every game in this in Detroit. So there's something called mental fatigue when it comes to playoffs. So that can hit them bad. So
Mm,
these are the two
mm,
weakness, and I
Yeah,
can point.
I agree as a little bit on Mansab's part that he's not that lethal anymore, but they have enough, like I think a very underrated bowler when bowling on his peak, and he pulls. I mean, he raises his game, especially in bowling at the right occasions. I've seen him. I'm a huge admirer of his game. Is Shahnawaz? I think they qualified him. His when he's on song, he hits that sort of length, which is remarkable, and I've seen enough of him that can trouble the best of the best in the DCL. They have one or two other guys. The I don't remember them because they do not play regular DCL, but I watched a couple of games last year, and they were hitting those lengths, which with when mixed with that pace is a huge problem creator for the batsman. So I think they have enough talent, even if you don't consider Mansab in that bracket of dangerous bowlers. But I think Jeet is an excellent bowler. Shan is an excellent bowler. They have enough bowling firepower which which I think can still trouble. And I agree with the age factor that is catching up on most of the ones which are regular from the last 10 odd years. But I think as a team, when they see that that big situation is there, I think with uh, with cricket and DCL not like the most athletic sports and things like that, experience counts a lot, and I think that's where Glad has a huge advantage.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's quickly jump
And
to our.
then
Yeah.
quickly, I still, I kind of agree with what you guys said about the age. That definitely that's a factor with Glass, but I still think that their weakness is their bowling. Their batting, obviously, they're loaded, but their weakness has been their bowling. But this year, it's the batting that has failed them, right? So we'll see what they do, but this is going to be the most critical game for them. If they win, they'll ride this momentum and they can be a dangerous team for the rest of the playoffs. So